Hello, my name is Randy Gutierrez. I'm a veteran for the United States Army. I served for 6.5 years, and I'm here to give you some information about military service and give you some insight on my experience and knowledge that I have obtained over my time serving in the military. So of course, have you ever thought about what your life would have been like or could be like if you were to ever join the military? This only applies if you were never in the military and you're a civilian, or you ever thought about joining the military. So basically, you wake up, you have to be at a 6:30 formation. I'm talking for the Army specifically. I'm sure the Marines across the branch does the same thing, but it pretty much varies on leadership. But majority of the time you have to go to accountability formation, 6:30, make sure you're alive, you're there, you're in your physical training uniform. You do physical training for an hour and a half, maybe, depending on leadership. You go back to your place of residency and you take a shower, do all that, get cleaned up, look good for your work day. You go to your job site. You'll start doing whatever your job is required of you to do, whether that be a cook, mechanic, infantry. It just really depends. You can drive trucks, or it just really depends on your job. And for military, they offer you an hour and a half lunch. So you go to lunch, you go to lunch at 11:30, come back at 1, then you get off at 5. You go home, and that's your personal time all the way up till 6:30 formation again. And that's pretty much the life, of being in the military. It's a very routine job. It's always the same. It's constant. 6:30 formation, 9 o'clock work call, 11:30 lunch, come back at 1. Your day's over at 5. Then you have personal time after that, and you got to be in formation again the next day at 6:30 in the morning. And that's pretty much it, Monday through Friday, unless you're doing field operations where you're required to do your job duties outside and perform operations in a different location while outside, sustaining yourself as a unit, of course. But that varies depending on what branch you're in. Army does that, so does Marines. Navy and Air Force not so much, because they have a different job description. They're not land soldiers, so every branch is different. But yeah, that's for that. Also, the military offers great opportunity, to advance yourself and to become a better version of yourself, such as leadership schools. You become different ranks. You become an officer. You can either lead soldiers, or you can be an operations officer, which there's no operations officer, in the military. But if you become an officer, you're kind of more of a logistics planner, or you could be an infantry officer. There's so many things that you could do. But you can either be non-commissioned or commissioned, which a commissioned would be an officer, non-commissioned would be like a sergeant, along those lines. Sergeants, they have soldiers, and officers don't really deal with soldiers. They just deal with planning and logistics, and along those lines. There's schools that you could do. You could become a ranger, which is in more of an advanced infantry school, and you're testing yourself more. It's a more harder school, and it's a very good school, to become a better version of yourself. You have a lot of opportunity to lead and train and motivate, inspire people. You learn what you're capable of, what you're not capable of, what you need to work on. based off, whatever needs to get done. I mean, the military, there's a lot of deadlines, there's missions that you have to do, there's training you have to do, and it's really up to you to, like, see what you can do, what you're capable of, what you can bring to the table. There's a lot of stuff that you could do. Either you put yourself out there, or someone put themselves out there, and you're gonna follow them. So you either become a leader or you become a follower, but you could be both. But but the majority, would want to be a leader. But there's some good leaders out there, Anyways, I got off track off of that one. I didn't even know. But if you decide to make, the military career, that's a good choice. 20 years. I mean, it's not for everyone. I get it. I mean, not a lot of us. We do 3 years, 6 years, and we get out. It's not for us. We don't like it. I get it. That's basically what goes through a lot of our minds. And for those that do 20 years, you can retire at 20 years. I believe they'll do 50% of your base pay, and then 2.5% each year after, each year additional to that. So, I mean, it's a good retirement. Most people, they do 20 years. Well, not most people, not bad. Like, some people, they do 20 years, they get out. Some of them get a house paid off. I've seen some people that have done that. They get a house paid off, do their 20, retire, get another job that involves, hiring veterans for the DOD, which is Department of Defense, and stuff like that. Or you can get out and you can receive veteran benefits, of course, the benefits you would receive under an honorable discharge, such as getting your tuition paid for. They pay for your full tuition, and then they pay you each month to be going to school, and then they pay for your book supplies. And when I say they, I mean the Veteran Affairs, which is a department of, I think, the federal government or something like that. I didn't really look into it that much, but they could pay, for your school, and it could be any school. They just have to approve of it, And then VA home loans on top of that, which you can put to as little as $1 down. Most people don't think about that. They don't want to join the service because either they heard that it's too woke, or you're selling your soul, or you're fighting a white man's war, blah blah blah. The military is what you make of it, and I believe, and I know I believe that you can go very far in the military, and you can get out and be a lot more ahead than people your age, based off the benefits you receive, and then the opportunities that you have, and the things that you've done. So if you really put it in that perspective of, what I've told you, of how your daily life of the military, it's very routine, it's constant. It's very, what to expect. So when you know what to expect, you can kind of work around that, and you can become a better version of yourself by not focusing on where you need to be. You can just be there and just try every day to be better. And then the opportunities that you could have to be a better version of yourself, that's part of the routine. You already know what it is, what to expect, and then every day you improve yourself. And then you see that, and then it's up to you, if you like that lifestyle, to do 20 years, or you do 3 years, get out and receive veteran benefits. It's, most people don't really apply for benefits, but the VA home loan does help out a lot, especially with, inflation nowadays, and, car prices. Everything's more expensive. But I'm gonna wrap back to the conclusion that, your life would be different and could be different. You know, if you were to join the military for 3 years and get out, you know, where would you be then? You know, versus you never joined the military, you know, and you are at a point where you're at in your life now. You know, you just kind of think about those two situations, or those decisions that you could have made. You know, where would I be if I just did my 3 years and I got out, went to school, doing what I'm doing now, but then I don't have to pay out of pocket, you know, and then I get paid to go to school. But everyone's situation is different, of course. You know, everyone has different feelings and experiences, and, you know, everyone always has a different outlook. But I believe joining the military would set you ahead further than you would have been, you know, just not joining. But also it depends on, you know, the family you're born into, your connections, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, thank you.